going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of What the Truck. I am your host with the most, Malcolm Harris. Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I know I did. It was so good to be around some friends and family and just kicking it, and I hope you guys had a restful and relaxing weekend as well. This is a huge show today, and I'm super excited to start the week with a little bit of energy and a lot of talent. Looking at On Deck and what's to come today, guys, I have a huge show in store. Starting off is going to be Alex Martin-Banzer, all right? So Alex, her journey is absolutely crazy. She is the brand manager at Western Star and then also communications manager at Daimler Truck of North America. So DTNA, she is there, and we're going to speak to Alex in a little bit, as well as Kyle Wilkes. He's the project manager at Southwest Industrial Rigging. He's joining the show. He's the mastermind behind a big move, and Kyle's going to get into that when I'm talking route planning, utility coordination, all the things. But we're going to start off the show. It's going to be Chris Isley. He's the risk control specialist at Travelers Transportation. So we're going to start with Chris, then go to Alex, and then our last but not least, Kyle Wilkes, is going to end the show. This all could not be possible, though, of course, without our sponsors at PCS. Again, today's show and this month, the month of November, is brought to you by our sponsor here at What the Truck, PCS. In this freight market, margins are everything. PCS TMS with Cortex AI helps carriers capture the right loads, cut wasted miles, and find profit points on every run, because profit, not volume, is the new payload. See how at PCSsoft.com. Thank you so much. And now let's head into headlines right now. You guys see what I did there. Looking at the story from the U.S. Postal Service, it's planning for parcel price hikes in January. Yo, I saw this story over the weekend and I wanted to share it with you. So they're gearing up, like I said, for a raise in parcel shipping prices starting in January. The agency says that hikes are necessary to cover rising operational costs and support, specifically when it comes to delivering for America, right? So shippers should prepare for higher rates across key package services as the USPS continues to push forward when it comes to financial stability. So again, saw this article. Did I expect it? Absolutely. Do I think there's going to be more along the lines to come with this? You bet. So make sure you guys are looking at this piece. This was one that dropped again on Friday. And things, again, push pull, you're going to see this throughout the industry. And I just wanted to bring it to you so you guys were aware. Now, let's definitely go to the water. Hapag Lloyd, and I actually used this example today, speaking with some kids, but they actually noticed a dip in profit as global trade patterns remain choppy. So in sluggish demand, there's obviously some trade flows that are shifting, and weaker freight markets are continuing to cause pressure when it comes to earnings. So HP, they essentially said that validity is likely going to remain a factor heading into 2026 as geographical tensions and uneven consumer spending keeps the container market unsettled. So you put that, of course, with just natural things that are happening in the ocean space, you see what we have here today. So definitely going to have more information from Hapag Lloyd, and this features piece from Stuart is right now on FreightWaves.com. So definitely go check this out. Now looking at this next article from the FMCSA, launching new crash risk study on driver schedules. I thought this was really fascinating because you guys know that we have had several folks on here from a technology space really talk about, all right, what does this look like, right? And they're rolling out basically a safety study focused on how driver schedules influence crash risk. The research will examine duty cycles, rest patterns, the rhythm disruptions of what's happening, real world work schedules compared to the hours of service assumptions. So the goal is essentially this: better data to inform future policy, and how this is going to look when it comes to carriers and drivers, depending on what this ends up being and what they find. I don't know, but I think it's definitely going to have some ramifications. So definitely we'll be reporting on this and having more additional information moving forward. Last but not least, I will have to say my projections were wrong. I have never wanted to once tell you guys that I am the smartest guy in the room, but I did not think that this would happen. This was a deal that I thought was very interesting. looking at this article about M&A slowing down in Q3, right? But deals are getting bigger. So I wasn't all the way wrong, but I definitely thought there would be more action in Q3. According to this article that I saw from Stewart, new reporting is showing that M&A cooled in Q3 with fewer deals overall, but the ones that did close are significantly larger. So basically, analysts are saying that high interest rates, tougher financing conditions played a role, pushing smaller buyers to the sidelines while the big boys and the big players consolidated. So it's a sign that even in uncertain freight markets, the largest companies are still making strategic moves. And we knew that this would be the case, right? I think that anybody who has been following for quite some time, 2023, 2024, knew that this could be something of significance. But I definitely thought it would be a little bit more aggressive. So who's to say the data in Q4 is not going to trend in a certain different direction? Only time will tell. Appreciate all of our writers for what they're doing, and definitely make sure you're visiting FreightWaves.com for more information that you can stay in the know. And now we're going to transition and go to the source, because I wanted you guys to hear again from the one and only joining me. He is one of the third Isley brothers that I was told. Chris Isley. He is the the risk control specialist at Travelers. Chris, are you one of the Isley brothers, or was I fed bad information, sir?
Well, I have three brothers, but we don't sing very well.
Well, it's okay. It's all right. I think you're gonna make it up to our audience today, man. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here for your first time on the show on What the Truck.
Glad to be here.
I'm
Thank you,
glad
sir.
you're here. Yes, sir. Happy to. Happy to. So, you've been in this industry for quite a while, right? And what kind of work have you done over the years? Tell myself as well as our audience a little bit about yourself, Chris.
Okay, sure. I was a safety director in a trucking company for about 20 years, overseeing compliance, driver training, and load securement. Before that, I was with North Carolina DOT. I was an inspector and a trainer for North Carolina. I inspected loads and verified permits, weights, and safety compliance. For the past 10 years, I've been with Travelers, providing heavy equipment protection and conducting risk control surveys in companies. I'm one of 9 national transportation specialists for Travelers across the United States. And our job is to help fleets improve their safety programs, reduce risk, and prevent accidents. We work alongside our clients, sharing practical guidance and real world experience to support the safety efforts, develop their people, and help prevent crashes.
Well, that explains why you were definitely the resident expert. I was putting the dots together, and that makes sense. And specifically on today's topic, heavy equipment transportation. So, I'm just happy to have you on. And with that, can you start us off with the basics? What does this look like here for this topic we're talking about today?
Well, sure. Heavy equipment transportation typically involves flatbeds and lowboy trailers designed for oversized loads or overweight loads. These require compliance with specific FMCSA regulations for load securement. In the simplest terms, it means load securement needs to be in place to prevent cargo from shifting, falling, or rolling during transport. To make sure that compliance terms are met, DOT inspectors are conducted at weigh stations. I should say inspections are conducted at weigh stations or on the roadsides to verify load securement, permits, and weight compliance. And keep in mind that oversized load operations can be restricted to specific times, routes, and may require pilot cars or escorts for the vehicles.
That's super helpful. Now, can you walk us through what actually goes into securing these loads and these shipments safely?
Of course. So many heavy equipment designers design the equipment with tie downs or anchor points that will help to secure the loads. And some specific pieces of equipment, like excavators, will need buckets and booms tied down separately. Or wheeled or tracked equipment must be blocked or locked to prevent movement. So obviously size matters on that part. Equipment under 10,000 pounds requires fewer tie downs points, whereas 10,000 pounds or more, you must follow additional securement standards. But the general rule of thumb and best practice is to use more securement than is necessary or required, and that is just the best rule of thumb on that part. If you have more than you need, if something is might be damaged or bad, then you still be okay.
It's definitely one of those be safe or sorry situations because nobody wants to see like a bulldozer when it comes to something falling off or a flatbed absolutely not being secured and going off on the highway. So not that makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate you explaining to our audience that just may not be aware. I mean, these are shipments and loads that are going at a very high speed. So thank you. And with that, when we see these massive loads going down the highway, like let's just say these just oversized, whether it's a mobile home, bridge beams, those wind turbine blades, like what kind of planning and coordination goes in these types of moves?
Absolutely. A really good question. Moving oversized or overweight loads isn't as simple as loading up a truck and hitting the road. There's a whole process behind it. First off, permits are required. Some carriers use blanket permits. These permits are issued per state. Each state has their own blanket permit guidelines. For example, North Carolina can offer a blanket permit for up to 90,000 pounds, while South Carolina and Georgia can issue a blanket permit up to 100,000 pounds. Blanket permits are only good in the state that issues it. They may also have other restrictions on the permits that must be followed. Uh, but when something really pushes the limits or a large load, then they have to, like wind turbines, as you mentioned, or large bridge beams, they'll need a single trip permit specified to that one move to cover height, length, and weight. There is then there are escorts or pilot cars, which are licensed by each state. These are the cars you see running ahead of or behind those large loads. Their job is to help with route navigation, traffic control, and height clearance. They make sure that power lines and overpasses isn't too low for the load. Also, oversized moves have to follow a permitted route set by each state's Department of Transportation. These routes are carefully chosen to make sure that each truck can safely clear bridges, turns, and narrow roadways without damaging infrastructure. So what looks like a slow, wide load on the highway is actually a carefully planned operation involving permits, escorts, and a lot of coordination with state agencies.
Most definitely. I mean, and people just don't understand, right? Because, people just see it and just think, I'm guessing just like the right permits and having an escort, it's just like a small piece of the puzzle, but it's actually larger pieces of the puzzle to your point that you just mentioned, correct?
Yes, yes, it is. You have to have all those things in place and everything work together.
Absolutely. Well,
Moving big
Chris,
loads.
go ahead.
Move,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Moving big loads are much more than just logistics. It requires risk management and safety. At Travelers, we take hands-on approach to heavy equipment protection. We conduct risk control surveys to look at things like driver training, how loads are secured, whether operators are following the federal and state guidelines. I mentioned that I'm only one of 9 risk control specialists, and we try to help prevent loss before it happens, both in terms of property damage and, more important, save lives. We work directly with our customers to educate and provide risk management advice. When it comes to moving oversized loads, overweight loads, there's a lot more happening behind the scenes than most people realize. Every move is carefully coordinated, involves permits, route planning, escorts to keep our highways safe and infrastructure protected. But it doesn't stop there. At the end of the day, our goal is simply we want drivers to get home safely and equipment to get moved where it needs to go without incident. In the end, it's a partnership between the carriers, the regulators, insurance companies, all working together to make sure that the biggest loads move safely and responsibly across the country.
Chris, I could not say it better myself. Thank you so much for being here. Any last words for our audience today listening or any messages that you weren't able to convey that you'd like to share and as well as information for yourself and for your team where to find you with travelers?
You bet. It was great being here today. Our travelers teams are available through their account consultants or our specialists. They can all reach out if you're insured by Travelers to your account consultants, and they can locate us, and we'll be glad to help any companies that we can answer questions or hopefully give them the guidance they need to do this successfully.
Mr. Chris Isley, again, risk control specialist at Travelers Transportation. Chris, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, Chris was absolutely awesome. And Travelers, we have a great partnership with them. And I love to be able to interview folks that come on specifically from them because the knowledge factor and what they know in terms of just protections, whether it's cargo security, whether it's just actually, having permits and other things established when it comes to the clients and customers. And super excited to have that partnership with them and super excited for this next person because Alex is in the building. I see her on my screen. And Alex, you are here. What is going on? What is happening? How are you?
Hey, good morning. I
Good.
am doing great. Beautiful Monday morning.
It's a beautiful Monday morning. Alex, I have been dying to get this show officially just here. We've gone through it. We've had some stuff happen in the background. I just could not wait another day. Alex, thank you so much for being here. And I had a little intro right here that I'm going to read as someone who sits right at the intersection of engineering, brand development, and some of the toughest work in trucking. And then I had your name.
That's a really epic intro. I'm a little starstruck. Who is this person? Is
No,
that supposed
no,
to be me?
don't. That's you. I mean, think about it. You've done this. Like seriously, I always give flowers where they're due. I mean, you started as an intern. Like for real. Like you've really got this from the ground up. And before we kind of get into it, like walk me through your journey. I mean, this is years in the making to get to this point now as brand marketing manager for essentially two brands. I mean, I want to know, how does this all work? Walk me through the Alex journey right here, right now.
How much time do we have?
Oh, listen, you got
So
really like a 27-minute buffer. So
I can tell you, well, honestly, it does start back pre-work of what I grew up with. I actually grew up in the automotive industry focusing on classic cars. So I grew up going to classic car auctions like Mecum, Bonhams, Good & Co. It's just so kind of with the classic car background, it helped me really understand the love that people have for things that to other people really might not make sense. I mean, if you love an Italian or British car,
yeah.
you have to have a little something going on because we know that's not reliable engineering. So from that, my background there, I always knew I wanted to do something automotive, something with something that kind of impacts the world. So that's how I ended up at Daimler Truck North America here in Portland, Oregon, as an intern in the IT department, which I have no reason to be in IT, trust me. And from there was able to secure a role in engineering and was in engineering for 3 years before I made the jump to strategy for Western Star. And it was actually right at the time that the Project X series, which is the newest iteration of the Western Star product lineup, was still in the works. And so it was kind of one of those chaotic in the trenches time. And I was there for 4 or 5 years working on product strategy, but also focusing really in on the construction market as a segment as a whole. So did that and then moved over to marketing because I wanted the full value chain experience of starting in engineering, then strategy, and then how do you actually market the product that has been in development, for 10 plus years, and how do you take what the features and benefits are that we know internally in the corporate world, but then market it in a way that's tangible and palatable for our customers. What do our customers want to know? What is their benefit? We might think there's something that's a benefit, but for them, they're like, oh no, we don't care about that. But this is what we really care about. And that is just so much fun for me. And also just being around the customers, the Western Star customers, the vocational customers are just amazing, and they don't get enough credit for what they do day in, day out. They really help build the world, build everything around us. And if I have a moment with my team on the Western Star brand team to make them feel seen and heard, then that's my job is complete that day. So
Definitely, Alex. Now, specifically, your branding perspective, right? And what you've done from a marketing standpoint. How has this helped you tell the story on behalf of Western Star to customers who, need things that they can basically bet when it comes to your brand to help them convey?
when they see the Western Star W,
Yeah,
it's a partnership. They know that that W has their back, and that W would be nothing without our drivers and operators. That also means that we have to have a product that stands behind it, and we do. And so we like to say, we started in the logging in the mine fields up in Canada in 1967. And when you have a Western Star, you're working on building your legend, and the brand and the product is a part of that story with you.
definitely. Definitely. Now, I want to put your marketing brain on the test because let's
Oh
talk
no.
specifically. No, you're fine. This is real casual. Let's talk about this big project, and I do not want to butcher it. So I want to put you in the seat. Walk us through because I have all these notes, but I want you to tell the story. This is one of the biggest things, literally, just from a science perspective, I've heard in my career. Walk us through what was this project? How did this even get on the table? Give us everything.
For the Philippine Mars bomber, I'll make sure to not steal too much spotlight because I believe you have the actual drivers coming up after here. But we
Yeah.
got some wording about it a while ago from our dealership in the area. And they said, hey, this big move is happening, right? It's a once in a lifetime. And actually last year, a 4900 moved a similar Martin Mars bomber to the Aviation Museum in BC. So this is actually our second time that Western Star has had the opportunity to be part of something historic from these bombers. So when we heard about it, we said, absolutely, we got to be there to capture it. We want to tell the story because, I mean, that last photo you sent or that you just showed, right? Like with the impressive aircraft and the W's right there. I mean, Malcolm, it's just what I was saying. When you see that W, that's a badge of partnership and being there. And so we wanted to tell the story with it. And so we worked closely with the dealership and the customer to get their input. We wanted to hear how the operator, what was his thoughts on using the truck, right? Like this is the type of stuff where the operator's feedback of how the truck handled during this move, that's gold, right? And that's great feedback for us and for engineering to make sure that we're hitting the mark. And based on the feedback, that the 40NX was absolutely hitting the mark.
It definitely did hit the mark, and I know it takes a lot of just planning and things that are beyond my wildest imagination to even make this come true. Now, you said it, from a marketing piece and specifically telling the story. Anytime you're in marketing, you always want to do a few things, but I think the biggest thing is convey a story in a way that's digestible for those that are looking or watching or reading. Walk me through what was the biggest point that you saw that you wanted to convey when it came to this specifically today?
Everyone wants to see something that's unbelievable. Everyone wants to have that wow factor, where that you got to see it to believe it. And so when these opportunities come up like this, you have to jump on it because that's exactly that wow factor. I mean, these are the moments, Malcolm, that as a kid you're awe-inspired, right? Like these are the moments that you look up and you say, I want to do that one day. And so it's really a piece of the historic narrative craft that we want to be in there. And we want to tell the story about the history of this aircraft. We want to tell the story about the customer that did this because yes, it's the Western Star W on that truck, it's the 49X, but as I mentioned earlier, we would be nothing without our amazing customers, and it's them that's doing the work. So we want to tell their story too, and they're a long-standing Western Star customer from our legacy products to our X series. And you have to be an incredibly skilled driver to be able to handle this type of move. I mean, just look at that, right? Like you can't just hop in your Suburban and do that. You have to have a skill set and experience. So when you talk about the story, it's that we want to craft the narrative. It has to be something that is unbelievable and you want to see it, but it's celebrating the history of the aircraft, and it's really celebrating the customer and them being tasked for this epic journey.
Let's talk about
obviously winning at it. Look at
I was gonna say, like, you're winning at it. It looks amazing. I mean, and you talked about something I want to go back to, and I mean, I think about Western Star and think about just the not intensity, but the sincerity in your voice. Let's talk about legacy really fast. What is the legacy that Western Star has, not only now, but what in the future? Because you're cultivating this with, the customers you work alongside. What are you hoping to do?
for the legacy of the Western Star brand.
Hmm.
It's our goal with the Western Star brand is that when you see that W go by on a truck, you know what it stands for. You know that it's a badge of honor. Just like, the Carhartt logo, it's turned into something where if you see the Carhartt logo on a hat or on a vest or a jacket, it represents something to someone. And so with the Western Star W, it represents that never back down attitude, that passion, that grit, that, hey, not just any truck can do the job for me. It's only a Western Star can do the job for me, while also looking amazing while doing it. Let's be real, it's a pretty badass looking. And so I'm allowed to say that as the brand manager.
You are, for sure, for sure.
But it's what we want our legacy to be is to expand that brand value and love outside of just the trucking industry. So when it drives past a kid in a car, or you're wearing a Western Star hat, people know what that W means and what it stands for, and for the industry that it backs. And that for all of our operators, it celebrates them day in, day out.
Now, Alex, talk to me a little bit about the future, because, of course, things like this, once you do it once, it's gonna happen again, and there's gonna be sights set on bigger things to come. What does the future look like for Western Star, and specifically from your seat? What do you see? Let's just throw out a random
Yeah.
3 to 5 year time frame. What does that look like?
We have a couple other big hauls in the works. They can't quite talk about now, but
Of
we have
course.
something else because, like I said, these trucks are out there and this is their day to day. We're celebrating it right now, Malcolm, but for them, they're like, oh, this was a Tuesday, right? So we want to capture that. I would say that for actually something that's coming up here shortly is we are launching our next Star Nation experience for Western Star, which is an all-weekend expense-paid trip to Bend, Oregon in June, where we take 8 of the top operators out there, the most passionate people there are for Western Star, and we take them and we test their skill sets out at our track in Madras. We validate our trucks. And we're also partnering with the gaming industry with American Truck Simulator. And 2 of the spots are actually reserved for the gaming community. So when you ask, what are we doing in the future, besides continuing to grow and develop an amazing brand and product with the X Series, we're also pushing the boundaries of the trucking industry and who is a part of what we call the Star Nation community. If you have grit and passion to never back down and get the job done, you're a part of the Star Nation community. And this experience, this trip that we do out in June, is a way to celebrate those owners and operators. So for us, really, Malcolm, if you were to say, the next 3 to 5 years, we're bringing back celebrating the vocational industry. We're bringing back the camaraderie between operators and really making it be something to be incredibly proud of, that, hey, I am a truck driver and everything that I do day in, day out impacts the world and keeps it moving. And so really it's pushing that boundary of what it means to be a truck driver with Western Star by your side.
Alex, I want to tell you, been about 35 episodes in since I've been on What the Truck. That's one of the best answers we've had on the show. Easy. It's not even close.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I just got
perfect.
I just got so fired up. I didn't even want to talk after. I was like in awe. That was so good. All right, last question because I know I want to be mindful because Kyle is waiting in the wings.
I
You
can talk
know,
about this all day, Malcolm. So yeah, be start all day.
this is so fun. There's a lot of folks right now in your space, meaning marketing, and then also obviously in our space in transportation. They want a role like yours. From you being a professional and kind of merging, I mean, it sounds like a truly unique one of one role and your trajectory and everything you've done. What's a bit of advice that you have to give for listeners that are looking to do something like you've done and create a career like you've done it? Any advice for them?
I would say just apply, do it, but always be mindful of who is your customer and be with your customer. I went and got my CDL when I was in strategy because if I was representing the voice of a customer, I needed to be able to kick tires. I needed to be able to experience at least just a tiny bit of what they experience and know what they're talking about. And so I will also say my career path has never been quite planned out. I always stayed where I was happy and where I could learn and challenge myself. And then when an opportunity would appear and it fit with what made me happy, which was to be around product and to be around people, I would just go for it and just be my honest self. So if you were to ask me, Malcolm, 10 years ago, do you want to be in the trucking industry? I don't know if I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. But I can say I can't see myself anywhere else. And just, working on your network and just asking people questions and saying, hey, I want to go be with the customers for a little bit. How are they using the product? Really understanding the customers and how they see the brand and how they see the product. And this could be for anything. It helps make you be better at your job day to day, no matter what you're doing, because then you know what you're working towards every day. And that's to take care of your customers.
Could not say it better myself. Alex Martin-Banzer. Now, Alex, this is the last question. Where can people
Yeah.
go to find information about you and about everything that Western Star is doing right now in the space?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn. There's no other Martin-Banzer out there, I believe. And for anything and everything Western Star, just follow the Western Star social media channels at Western Star Trucks, as well as our websites. And also be sure to sign up for our newsletter, because our newsletter people will hear first about when the opening happens for the next Star Nation experience.
Alex, thank you so much. You crushed this interview. I really appreciate you being here on What the Truck. Hopeful to have you back in 2026.
Always.
Thank you so much. And then last but not least, guys, I told you guys we had a jam-packed show and that it was going to be an awesome one. And Alex, she did awesome. Chris did amazing as well. But we are going to go to a guy that we kind of look similar, and you guys are going to see what I'm talking about. If y'all roll to my man. What's up, Kyle? How are you, brother?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Malcolm?
I'm good. I'm good. Y'all, again, Kyle is joining me here on the show, and he is amazing. And I'm just excited to speak with you. Again, he's a project manager, Southwest Industrial Rigging. And of course, we've kind of talked the marketing aspect, and we kind of left some meat on the bone. Alex was really nice, by the way. She could have stole all your thunder, and she chose not to. And I want to just talk because, behind everything, right, there's a lot that goes with it. The planning, route coordination, engineering. I mean, the escort teams, everything getting involved in getting this aircraft safely on the road. How did this happen, man? Like, walk us as listeners and viewers through what did this look like, Kyle?
Well, let's start with saying it was our founder, the founder of Southwest Industrial Rigging, Harry Baker, that secured this project for the company. And he's also an airplane enthusiast. So he was really excited about this project. Unfortunately, Harry passed in November of last year and didn't get to see this through. So with his wife, Paulette Baker, taking over the company, this project really became a labor of love, not only for Paulette, but for everyone here involved at Southwest Industrial Rigging. So there was a lot of, there was some emotion involved in this, I'll say. And just a quick note, Southwest Industrial Rigging, with Harry passing, everyone misses him, but I'll tell you, Southwest Industrial Rigging has a very bright an exciting future with Paulette in the leadership chair and taking charge. She's doing a fantastic job, and we're all excited to be working directly for her and under her leadership. So I wanted to at least put that little plug in there for Harry, because we sure admired him and miss him. So
Definitely, definitely. Rest well, Harry, and I appreciate you for shows the type of man you are, and you guys are definitely hitting the mark, and he'd definitely be proud. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it,
Yeah.
Kyle.
You bet. So, as far as getting into the project, I don't know, did you want to hear a little bit of the background? I had some of the talking points.
100%. 100%. I mean,
Okay.
talk to me a little bit about the background. How did this come to pass? And then also specifically, let's talk about your career. I mean, because like this isn't a one-off. Like you've been doing this a long time. Talk to us a little bit about the background of the project, and then go into your background as well as to how you even got yourself in this huge situation.
Sure. So there again, Harry brought this to the table, and then my manager, Damian Vega, he and I had a conversation regarding it, and just high level discussions about what it was, and immediately I went online and just started researching the Philippine Mars, and tried to learn as much as I could before we had really any information provided to us. It was just very basic. And so we started having our discussions on what this might look like and what we needed to do in pre-work and trailer selection, driver selection. There's a lot of things that go into something like this. Just knowing that, again, this is a plane that was meant to float and fly, not be hauled across the highway on a lowboy trailer. So you've got to obviously keep in mind how we're going to secure this thing and haul it and make sure it maintains its structural integrity, and we don't compromise that in any way, shape, or form. So a lot of that just goes into play in the very first thoughts of it all, and then it just kind of snowballs from there, I suppose, into the practicality of it.
That's awesome. Now, tell me, when you first saw this bad boy, be honest, what was your initial reaction?
Oh yeah. I absolutely love challenges like this. This type of a one-off project. I've always said you got to be a little bit touched to be in this industry. So challenges like this that quite frankly has never been done before. It's just exciting to be involved in and being able to pull off a project like this successful and have such a great team to work with to make it happen. It's just it's exciting to be a part of. I get it. I get a kick out of it.
Kyle, you just mentioned the team. Talk to me a little bit about the team that was put in place. I mean, a lot of moving parts, a lot of different, I'm sure, responsibilities and duties.
Sure.
What was that on in terms of the back end? Like, talk to us a little bit about just the planning that it truly took to pull off a move like this. Because, I mean, being quite frank, I've never seen anything like this in my life, man. This is crazy.
Yeah. Well, what was exciting about this, we knew we were going to be, in fact, in my discussions with the state of Arizona officials, this was the largest or tallest move ever moved across the state of Arizona on Arizona highways. So we were 25 foot 6 inches tall. Truck trailer selection, so we could determine what our overall dimensions were going to be. I began by putting all the information into a CAD program and creating a drawing so we knew what it was going to look like and had it annotated correctly so that I could truly tell what our end height is going to be, what our width and overall length was going to be. And then it just, so that's my part of it in making sure that we have everything we need to know to go ahead and do the initial and final route analysis and begin talking to the government officials in the cities, counties, reservations, state to be able to secure permits and gain their confidence that we've done our due diligence. But the other part of it is the team that's actually doing the work. So Damian Vega, led that team and made sure we had the right equipment out on site. We supplied the cranes, as you can see, on site to be able to do the disassembly as they were pulling it apart. So our crews were out there almost on a daily basis as they were disassembling this thing. and fabricating custom mounts. The gentleman we were actually working directly for, Marty Ventura, he actually was fabricating the actual mounts that held the wing sections and ultimately the fuselage, and that's Marty in the video if you see there. So there's a lot of things happening all at one time, right, simultaneously. So while I'm securing the permitting and talking to the right people to allow this happen on a schedule that we predicted, we also have the crew out there actually doing the physical work and making sure it's secured properly and it's going to be safe going down the road. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And I appreciate your insight there. Now, there's something that popped in my brain that I wanted to ask you too, because there had to be something that went left. There had to be something that was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, it's just transportation, man. It's what comes with it. Is there something that went just egregiously left or wrong and that you're just like, man, when I am in 10, 15, 20 years and I'm telling, whoever, the grandkids, about this is what I'm gonna tell them. What is that one thing?
Well, we had, so after I ran the initial route survey, just looking for all obstacles and making notes on the roadway, I hired a company to go out, electrical company to go out with a high pole car as well to identify and do a discovery run to make notes so that we knew exactly what we were hitting, how high those lines were, who owned the wires, if we could figure that out along the way. And the ideal thing is that same company would run with the load when it moves. Unfortunately, right at the we were supposed to move on Friday night. I mean, on Sunday night. On Thursday, we got a notice that there was a contract that hadn't been put in place, and it was a big surprise. So we actually had to cancel the first run. We had some discussions, and at that point, I decided that rather than use that company to be our liaison with all the electric companies and communication companies, I took on that role myself.
Yeah.
So for the following month, I was. Well, there was times I just felt like I was drinking out of water or a fire hose. but rewarding. We had some fantastic partners in the electrical companies and the communication companies. It was everyone really stepped up and helped me through that process, and were very cooperative. So that made my job much easier. So that was probably the biggest hiccup we had in the whole deal.
No, definitely. Let's talk real briefly about trends, tech, as well as lessons that are to come. If you had a magic wand, right, and you're just getting this wish, and you could improve one thing when it comes to the heavy transport sector of logistics and transportation, what does that one thing look like?
It's Malcolm. We've come from a time where it was kind of cowboys and Indians. The cowboys were the law enforcement and Indians was industry, and it was kind of a catch me if you can type of a deal. Today, with the technology and everything else, those cowboys are becoming less and less. So really, I guess the one thing, if I could wave that magic wand, is that bring more of industry into discussions with the officials, the lawmaking officials, law enforcement, have real discussions about what's practical and what's not.
Yeah.
In other words, there's sometimes regulations in place that don't align well with industry's practice. And without the conversations stating that, nothing can be changed, right? So that's been kind of a motivation to find, for myself through the years is let's have those honest conversations and find out, what aligns well, what doesn't. And if it doesn't align well, let's figure out why. And, perhaps it's simply a regulatory change. It could be a statute change, but to make everyone's life a lot easier and not try to play that cat and mouse game of catch me if you can.
No, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. Also, another question that I had for you is it's a very similar question that I actually asked Alex. For anybody looking to get into project management or special type of project management that you do, because this is rare. I mean, I don't know. For those watching today's show, you guys have some roles that I've never seen. Like truly, like this is different, man. I mean, what's your best piece of advice? I mean, you're looking on the screen right now and seeing, the hours that I'm sure that it took and the sacrifices that it took to do something like this. For somebody looking to get into something like this, what is your best piece of advice that you can give them?
The best piece of advice I can give just about anybody is kind of gravitate toward what you feel most naturally fitted for, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I started out as a mechanics helper, moved into mechanic welder fabricator, and later on had an opportunity to get into dispatch and permitting and all that. So I can tell you when I was a mechanic, I had no vision of going into the office and being, involved in dispatch or permitting or supervising an office or, being involved in rulemaking processes or statute changes. So I guess the big thing is, take it one step at a time. Don't feel like you have to hit a home run right out of the bat. I mean, take it, take things as they come, right? So.
Yeah.
So hold true to your values. That's who you are, right? But remain flexible in your priorities, right? So if you think you're headed one direction, but another opportunity pops along that just sounds attractive, then change that priority and move that direction. You'll never know where it's going to take you. And again, for me, from from starting out as a mechanics helper to being involved in something like this, I couldn't have predicted this in my earlier years.
Well, it's safe to say that it absolutely worked out. Kyle Wilkes, again, the project manager at Southwest Industrial Rigging. Kyle, your insight has been amazing, and I can't thank you enough, man. This has been such an awesome conversation.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having us on and give us an opportunity to share this amazing project. So
Yeah, definitely.
been great,
Don't be a stranger, man. We look alike. Wait, might
right?
put me on some wanted posters here pretty soon. They're gonna be like, "Hey, you were supposed to do my project." I was like, "No, that's my brother Kyle." So,
There you go.
hey, Kyle, thank you so much, man.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kyle Wilkes. That was so insightful, guys. I mean, just the knowledge that entire team, from Kyle to, I mean, just everybody, has been awesome. And we have an awesome show coming up on Wednesday, and I want to talk about it just briefly before I let you go. The first is going to be Neeti Gupta. She's the co-founder and CEO of Portcash. She's going to be joining the show. And then also, Ronak Amin is the global product marketing lead at Here Technologies. He's going to also be joining the show. And then we're going to have somebody from FleetGuard, which is a really cool company that I'm going to talk to you guys about on Wednesday. And it's going to be an awesome show between Neeti and Ronak as well. Guys, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you guys joining me on What the Truck. I will see you on Wednesday, locked and loaded, ready for another one. Thank y'all so much. Peace.